Have you ever wanted to learn basic 3D modeling in Blender? In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to 3D model a hand. See you on the other side. Hello YouTube, this is Kahan here, and in this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to do basic 3D modeling in Blender, and I'm going to show you guys how to 3D model a hand. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started right away. Okay, so when you launch Blender, this is basically what you're going to be looking at. So the first thing we want to do is we are in user perspective mode right now. So we need to switch over into top orthographic. So to get into top view, we're going to press the numpad 7 key. There we go. And we are automatically in orthographic view, which we want. Okay. If we press the 5 key on the numpad, we're in perspective mode, but we want to make sure that we are in orthographic mode. So perspective mode is typically how we view the world in reality. So when you're looking at a box, for example, from straight, like when you're looking at a box straight on from the front, you can't see the back sides of the box, but if the cardboard box was kind of invisible, where you can only see the points and the edges, perspective is where towards the back everything appears smaller. So this is how humans see the world naturally. We see things in perspective mode. However, for 3D modeling purposes, it's a lot easier to be in orthographic mode. So we are in top orthographic mode. So just by pressing the numpad 7 and just ensuring by toggling on the numpad 5 key that we are in top orthographic view. Next, what we want to do is we want to load up a reference image. So how do we do that? We go into add, then we go into image, and then we go reference. And what we need to do is we need to navigate exactly where that image is. So I have one right on my desktop over here. And there we go. So we can zoom in by scrolling with the wheel on your mouse. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we want to scale the cube. So make sure that the cube is selected by left clicking on the cube. You'll know that the cube is selected because it has the orange outline lines, let's say. So we want to press the S key and basically just bring the mouse up. So as you're moving the mouse upwards, it's basically scaling this cube. Make it roughly the same kind of size as the index finger over here, because that's where we're going to be starting. Now what I want to do is I want to grab the cube. So I will press the G key and basically just bring it over to here, roughly speaking. Okay, so let me just zoom in a bit. And you can zoom in and move around in Blender by using the scroll wheel on your mouse. If you hold down the Shift key and then push down on the wheel, you can basically kind of maneuver around the reference image. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we are in edit mode. Okay, so right now, as you can see on the top left-hand corner of Blender over here, we're in object mode. So let's get into edit mode by pressing on the tab key. Okay, so now as you can see, we are in edit mode. The next thing we want to do is we need to ensure that when we're selecting the vertices in Blender, we need to ensure that the back vertices are selected as well. We can't do that when we are in kind of a solid view, we need to make sure that we are in wireframe view or wireframe mode. I think it's called wireframe view. So to toggle to that, we press the Z key and we select wireframe. Okay. Now, if I rotate around, we can see that all of the vertices are selected on this box. Okay. Simply, and you can rotate in Blender by pushing down on the mouse wheel, and then you can basically rotate around. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into top orthographic view. I'm going to deselect the whole cube. And an easy way of deselecting is just to press the A key once or twice. You just need to ensure that the orange outlines on the cube are not showing in orange. So by pressing the A key, okay, so I double tap the A key and it basically deselected the entire cube. So there we go. I don't have anything selected on the cube. So going back to top orthographic with numpad 7. So what I want to do now is I want to do a box select with the B key and simply select these corner vertices. Now if I rotate around, I can see that both the front and the back vertex is selected, or the back vertex, I should say. So the front and the back, they're both selected. So this is what we want. Now, I'll push this in a little bit more by pressing on the G key, which stands for grab. So just bring it in a little bit more. I'm going to deselect now by double pressing the A key. And what I'll do is I'll just bring this corner in a bit as well. So B for box select, G for grab, and just kind of make it line up with the middle of the in between the two fingers. Okay, deselect by double tapping on the A key. Now what I want to do is I want to do a box select, not on one corner, but basically on this entire side over here. So simply do a box select with the B key and draw a box starting from this corner and basically overlap it to ensure that both vertices are selected, or both corners are selected. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do an extrude. So how do we do extrude? We press the E key on the keyboard and then basically go up. Now on a finger, we have 3 sections on a finger. Okay? So we want to basically do extrude 3 times. And let me just bring this down a bit. So once again, hold down the shift key and hold down the wheel of the mouse. And I will press another, I'll press E another time to extrude one last time. Okay. Doesn't have to be exact, but this is a good starting point right now. So what I want to do right now is I want to make sure that everything is now deselected. So double press on A. Okay. Once again, with nothing in orange, we know that nothing is selected. So now it's just a matter of manipulating the vertices around, okay, to kind of shape the finger a little bit more. So what I can do is I can do a box select over here. I can press G for grab. Just kind of line it up more. Double press A. Press the B key for box select. The G key for grab. And double press the A. And basically wash, rinse, and repeat. The other thing you can do is you can do the C key. Okay, it'll do a circular select. Okay, if I rotate around, I could see that both vertices are selected, the front and the back. I prefer to do box select. I don't know why, that's just my preference. And the G key for grab, and double press A, box select, G key for grab, double press A, and once again, wash, rinse, and repeat. So it's a lot of pressing the B key, the G key, and yeah, and the A key to deselect. So I'm going to press G now for grab. Now this, you want to kind of make sure that the line is overlapping the tip of the finger. Double press A, B key for box select, G key for grab, and there we go. Double press A to deselect. So now I want to move back down over here. So hold down Shift and basically do that to bring it up. Okay, so moving back down into this area over here, I can see that it's not lining up perfectly to the shape of the finger. What we can do is we can do what's called a loop cut. So to do that, do Control R, and it's very difficult to see. But basically, what you need to do is you need to go along the along one of the edges over here, left click, and then basically before you commit, you can slide this up and down. So let's just put it roughly in the middle. And once you're happy with where the loop cut has been placed, press Enter key on your keyboard. And there we go. So now we have a new set of vertices over here. Okay, so now what I want to do is let's just move these vertices in a little bit. And I'll do a box select, G for grab, and just kind of bring it in. Okay. It doesn't have to line up exactly. Obviously, we're dealing with straight edges versus curved edges. Later on in the tutorial, we're going to be adding a subdivision surfaces modifier, which will kind of help with the smoothing of the entire hand as a whole. So we need to make sure that our vertices are deselected. Double press the A key. And what we want to do now, let's just bring this up a little bit, is we want to extrude from this corner to this corner. So we're going to do a box select, and we're going to press the E key to extrude, and we're going to do that 2 more times. And don't worry if this all doesn't line up. We're going to be tweaking that in a moment. So let's just press the E key once again. And what we want to do here is we want to just stop where this corner set of vertices match up with the outline of the hand over here. Now we need to make sure that we're deselected. Always make sure that you're deselected, because if you have a set of vertices selected and then you start manipulating something over here, basically it's going to manipulate anything that's selected. So we always want to make sure that we're deselected. Double press the A key. Okay, so let's just fix everything up here. B for box select, G to grab, and double press A. B key for box select, G key for grab, and just kind of line it up like that. Actually, what we need to do is we need to bring this down to over here. I'll just make sure that I'm reselecting the proper set of vertices and just bring it down to here. So basically you want a corner where the fingers kind of have that, that inner loop. Okay. And B for box select, G for grab, bring that down over here. Okay, looking good. Double press A. We can straighten up these in a moment. And actually, what we can do is, we'll do that right now, actually. I'll do a box select, and I'm going to select all this entire edge over here with all of the vertices. You have to make sure that this is not selected. Okay? What we want to do is we want to bring this down to about here. Okay? We don't need to do an extrude. What we're going to do is we're going to do a grab. Okay? Always keep in mind that when you're modeling, to try to keep your vertex count as low as possible. Because the more vertices you add to your 3D model, the more complex it becomes, and hence the bigger the file size. If you're animating it later on, it's just going to be a lot harder to animate as well. So try to keep the amount of vertices down. Technically, even over here, I didn't need to add that edge loop, but just to make things a little bit cleaner, I decided to go with an edge loop. So what we want to do now is we want to deselect by double tapping on the A key. And now let's start with the fingers, or let's continue with the fingers. And basically, it's the same as we did with the index finger. We're going to do a box select. We're going to go to this corner over here, and we're going to select that corner over there. And we're going to press the E key 3 times. And let's just bring this down and press E for extrude one last time. And there we go. And let's just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so that's looking good. So double press A, press the B key for box select, and then let's start shaping this finger. Double press A, press the B key for box select, G key for grab. Okay. Box select, G for grab, double press A. So once again, it's just a lot of wash, rinse, and repeat. Okay. Last one over here, box select. Let's just bring this in a little bit, G, just to kind of, and that's fine over here. Okay. Just to kind of match it all up. Make sure you're deselected, double press A, and let's just swing back down over here. Okay, looking good. So now what we want to do is we want to continue with this finger. Always make sure you're deselected. Okay. When in doubt, press the A key, double press the A key to deselect. Okay, we want to do a box select over here. And we basically want to do extrude another 3 times. And let me just move over to the top over here. Okay, looking good. Double press A. And let's just shape the this finger. Box select. G for grab. Double press A. Box select. Okay. And box select. G for grab. Okay, so we need to fix this up over here. Just shape the finger and let's do a grab. Just make sure it overlaps the tip of the finger. Double press A, press B, press G. And every time you're doing a grab, you always have to make sure actually that you're left clicking the mouse. Okay. So if I was to grab, left click the mouse to basically lock it into place. Okay, so I'll do the G key again, left click, done. Double press A, and let's just go back down over here now. Last finger. So what we're going to do now is we are going to make sure that we're deselected. Box select. E for extrude. Don't worry if it's going to overlap over here. We're going to fix that up. And once again, our pinky even has 3 sections. So we just want to make sure we're making 3 sections. Double press A. Okay, let's start shaping. Now, what I would do is I would bring these vertices over first. So that way we're not risking overlapping vertices and then kind of confusing ourselves. So what we want to do, same thing, box select, G for grab, double press A, box select, G for grab, press the left mouse button to lock in place. Okay, and let's do the last finger over here, or the last vertex points for the pinky over here. And then now let's move these. So we need to make sure we're deselected over here. Box select, G for grab, double press A, box select, G for grab, double press A. Finally, our last point over here. Make sure you're not grabbing these vertices over here by mistake. Okay, we can zoom in a little bit too to ensure that we're not. Okay, so just make sure you're not selecting these vertices over here. And G for grab and bring it in. Double press A. Okay, let me zoom out. So far, so good. Okay. So let's move down to this portion of the hand now. Okay, so let's continue now modeling the bottom of the hand over here. And once again, let's make sure that we're deselected. Double press the A key. Once again, when in doubt, press A to select all. Double press A to deselect. Now what we want to do is we want to grab all of these vertices down here and we want to do an extrude. And what we're going to do is we're going to shape out the thumb after we do that. So let's do a box select. And we want to make sure that this entire edge over here with all these vertices are selected. We're going to press the E key to extrude. And roughly about there. And what we want to do now is we need to shape out the thumb. So we need to deselect. We need to box select. We need to do a G for grab. Okay, roughly there. And then we need to deselect. And basically, let's continue with the thumb. So make sure that these 2 vertex points are selected. And the thumb has 2 sections. So we only need to do extrude twice. So E key to extrude, E key to extrude. Double press the A to deselect. And once again, let's just shape out the thumb, box select, double press A, box select, G for grab, double press A, B for box select, G for grab, double press A. Notice that I'm repeating myself a lot. That's very important when it comes to learning. The more we repeat certain commands and so forth, that's how we learn. So we learn through repetition. So repetition is actually a good thing. So I'm going to make sure that I'm deselected with the A key. And finally, gonna do a box select, G for grab, and just overlap it over there. Perfect. Okay. So we're gonna deselect. Now what we can do is we can straighten things out a little bit. So what I'll do is making sure I'm deselected. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Okay. So I'll do a box select and I'll do a G for grab. And not only am I going to bring it up, I'm also going to line it up with this part of the hand over here. So notice how everything is a lot cleaner now. So we still have this set of vertices over here. Double press A, press the B key for box select, G key for grab. Okay, and double press A. If we want to really be precise, we can move these vertices as well, right in the middle. So what I'll do is I'll do B key for box select, G key for grab, just to kind of make our geometry a lot cleaner. And I can deselect, and I'll just bring this down just a nudge. Okay, looking good. Double press A. If I rotate around, I can see that it is nicely forming this hand. Okay, probably a little bit thicker than we want, but we can basically scale that down a little bit later on in the tutorial. Okay, so numpad 7 to go back into top orthographic view. Okay, let's continue shaping the hand now. So just make sure you're deselected. And now I want to select or do a box select on this entire bottom set of vertices over here. And I want to do an extrude and just bring it probably to about there. Zoom out a little bit. Hold the shift key, middle, or the wheel of the mouse to drag it up. And what I can do is, knowing that there's a curve in the hand over here, with these vertices still selected, because I never deselected them, I can still do a G for grab. And I can kind of bring it closer to the curve of the hand. Let's just go right about there. Now, what I want to do is I want to scale this down. The way to do that is press the S key and then basically move your mouse inwards and notice that it does like a scaling. Okay. You basically want to line up this set of vertices over here with the curve of the hand on this side over here. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll deselect and we'll just kind of move things a little bit over to the right so that way we can deal with this over here. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll do a box select and I'll just select these vertices in the middle, G for grab, and just kind of bring it inwards a little bit. Double press A, B for box select, G for grab, And there we go. Okay. So we have a big gap over here. So it's not lining up nicely over here as well as over here. So I'm going to deselect, double press A. Remember with the loop, um, what is it called? The loop edge cut or whatever. You're going to do Control R. And then it's very hard to see, but basically, if you go along this edge over here, it's making a yellow line. So what we're going to do is we're basically slicing through the middle of all of these vertices. Okay, so I want it actually right where it's suggesting, right in the middle. So I'm going to left click the mouse, and then you can bring it up and down. So roughly right about there is a good point. Then we're going to press the return key to lock it in place. We're going to double press A to make sure that we're deselected. There we go. So now we have a bunch of vertices over here. So we need to shape out the hand or shape out this edge over here. So press the B key, press the G key, double press A. Press the B key for box select, G key for grab, and double press A. There we go. Okay. So we only have one more section to go. And actually what I think we can do with this is do a box select on this entire bottom edge. So make sure all sets of vertices are selected. And we'll do one final extrude. I think that's all we really need. And line it up down here and left click the mouse button to lock in place. Just to recap, whenever you're using the G key or the E key, you always want to left click the mouse button to lock it into place, to lock those vertices into place. Okay. So double press the A key, make sure everything is deselected, and we need to deal with this over here. So what I can do is I can sort of bring things in a little bit. I could do a box select. I could do a G key for grab, just kind of nudge them in a little bit. Double press A, G key for box select, and G key for grab. And there we go. Now what I want to do is I probably want to bring, actually what we'll do is we'll just do another loop cut. Double press A. We're going to do Control R. And let's just add one more set of vertices right down the middle. And you can slide it up and down, just kind of roughly in the middle. And return to lock in place. Okay, double press A to deselect. And what we want to do is we just want to kind of bring these vertices in a little bit. So box select and then G key for grab. And double press A. And maybe let's just bring out this corner just a little bit. So what I can do is I can do a box select around both of these sets of vertices over here. And just do a G key for grab. And double press A. Okay. And actually one last thing I'll do is I'll just do a box select on that, G key for grab, just to make it a little tighter, a little bit cleaner. It doesn't have to be perfect because once again, we're going to apply what's referred to as a subdivision surface modifier. And we're going to do that in a sec. And what I can do, let me just try something over here, is make sure we're deselected. And what I'll do is just to straighten things up over a little bit over here, do a box select, G key for grab. There we go. Okay. So now and then what I can do is I can fix this up just to straighten things up a little bit more. Double press A, E key for box select, G key for grab. Okay. You always want to ensure that your geometry is nice and smooth, and we always want to have a box. Okay, we want to avoid triangles because when you're going to apply certain modifiers, such as the subdivision surface modifier, which we're going to do in a few moments, it's important to always make sure that we have basically four edges all the time. Basically squares. We always want to ensure that we're modeling with squares, not with triangles. Okay? And if I want to fix things up just a little bit over here, double press A, just always ensure that you're deselected, box select, and G key for grab. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, I'll zoom out just simply by using the wheel of the mouse and just bring things down a little bit. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm in side view. So I'm going to press I believe it's the 3 key on the numpad. But that's fine. So right now we're in the right view. So we're looking at it. Basically, we're looking at it from the side. Now what I want to do is I just want to make the hand a little bit less thick. Two ways of doing that. We could select all by pressing the A key. And then we can do a scale on the Z axis, which is this blue line over here. And you can always see your axes right up here. So the Z axis right now is up and down, and the Y axis is this green line over here. So what I'll do is I'll do a scale by pressing the S key. And I want to lock it into place by pressing the Z key because I only want to scale along the Z axis. And then now I bring it in. And notice what it's doing. No matter how I move my mouse, it's really only going up and down, which is exactly what I want. So I just want to and then press the left key to lock it into place. You basically want to make the hand less thick, okay? Because the hand is not so thick like that. Okay, with our scaling done, let's go back up into top orthographic view. Press the 7 key on the numpad. And what we want to do now is we want to apply a subdivision surface modifier. And the best way of doing that is by going into object mode, by pressing the tab key. And then we want to go over and we want to make sure that the hand is selected. So in object mode, we just want to make sure that our hand is selected by, you just need to find somewhere to click into where the hand is selected. We know the hand is selected right now because it's outlined in orange. Then we want to go down to here where we have our wrench tool here, or it looks like a wrench, I should say. This is our modifier properties, and we want to add a modifier. And what we want to do is we want to add a subdivision surface. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to see the actual effects. So if I rotate around, I can see that it's done a little bit of smoothing already. Okay. But we want to go into the shading kind of view. So we want to press the Z key and we want to go into solid. And then now we can see the effects of the modifier. Okay. We have a little bit of kind of a situation here where it's not so smooth. So you can simply go to the modifier properties over here, and under viewport, you can change. I recommend bringing it up to 4. Okay. And when you're rendering, you also want to make sure that it's set to 4. Okay. So render should be 4. And all you need to do is just basically just click this up arrow, or you can type in the number directly. Okay. Now, when we applied the modifier, it did a pretty good job. It's not going to line up perfectly with the outline of our reference image. Now, if we go over to this area over here, so where we see the hand.jpg, so we can name this actually by double clicking, and I can call this reference image. Okay. Just to sort of make everything a little bit more easy to read. We can actually turn the reference image off by clicking on this eyeball, and that basically turns the reference image off. Okay, looking good. So let's just fix things up a little bit, and I'll show you the effects of the modifier as we're kind of stretching out. Let's go into the thumb area here and just kind of stretch it out a little bit, just so it's matching up with the outline of the reference image a little better. So we're in object mode right now, so we need to make sure that our hand is selected. Okay, because you have to remember that in Blender, you have different objects. So even a light source and the camera is an object. So we want to make sure that we're not selecting the light, that we're actually selecting the hand. So simply left click on the hand and press the tab key. And what we want to do is we want to go back into wireframe mode for a sec. And we do that by pressing the Z key, go into wireframe, and double pressing the A key. Now what we could do is we could do a box select on this corner over here. And then we can bring it out by pressing the G key. Just bring it out a little bit. Double press A. If we press back into, or go back into solid view, we can notice that we can shape the thumb a little bit better. Well, there you have it. That's the end of this tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you at the next tutorial. Bye for now.